This is devastating. We have another injury update, and it is not good news. Another player carted off the field. Last week it was CJ Gardner-Johnson. This week it's in the tight end group. Somebody who just came back off of injury, and it is not, and I repeat, not good at all. It's just so tough news, and I really do feel bad for the guy. It is, he's trying to get back healthy. He's trying to get on the field, and we need him to play, and he's such a good player too, but carted off. Not good news. Welcome to Texans Digest. If you're new to the channel, 75% of you are not subscribed. And the guy I'm talking about is Brevin Jordan. Last year, tore his ACL, worked extremely hard to get back to full strength. And just to read off the reports, he went to catch a pass in the end zone, and high point pass, went down holding his left leg. He is standing, but tried to walk. He waved the card off. He wanted to walk off on his own power. But you could hear him screaming in his excruciating pain. It was definitely just a heartbreak to see, because that's not the news you're expecting to see, especially during the midst of practice, right? But injury is a part of football. It is devastating. It is not good, but it happens. And now the tight end room is even slimmer. Brevin Jordan, we've been talking about him in the comments all offseason. That was a guy we were expecting to take the next step, to go and maybe compete for this tight end one spot with Dalton Schultz, maybe be a 1A, 1B. And now that option seems shot, but we can only hope the best news for Brevin Jordan. Hope he's doing well for the recovery process. We do not have any specific details as to what's happening. Got an MRI coming, and the team just really, again, similar to CJ Gardner-Johnson, they were all there for him, all kind of just surrounded him. And it's just, for Brevin Jordan especially, I can understand why he's so frustrated, because you look at a guy who battled back to get back from this injury, and to just go down again, it is so, so unfortunate. So DeMeco Ryans spoke about it after practice, and again, it's not looking good, but they're going to continue to update us.
Of work. Unfortunately, we guys are here. We saw Brevin go down with injury. We'll continue to evaluate Brev and see, where he is. It's tough for everybody to see Brevin going down, knowing how much work he's put in to get back to this point of playing football, and how excited he was to get back playing football. So just praying for him to have a successful return.
So not good news at all. If you look at DeMeco Ryans basically saying, we'll continue to evaluate Brev and see where he is. It's tough for everybody to see him go down, but again, praying for him. Hopefully he gets a successful return. I mean, it's just crazy the amount of players that are going down in camp. You do not want to see that. The Texans just signed Jalen Mills, safety. Again, that was kind of to replace CJ Gardner-Johnson, and now it's what do you do for tight end? I know you have a decent depth, but really hope that he can get back. I mean, it's an extremely hard spot, no doubt. But looking at it in retrospect, who is going to step up now? You got Irv Smith Jr., you got the rookie Luke Lachey out of Iowa. So again, I mean, there's so many question marks now, but I feel like your main two guys that are going to be on the field is Dalton Schultz and Cade Stover. Dalton Schultz has been reportedly having a great camp. Cade Stover, we saw him on the field with the second-team guys. I kind of want to see him get in there a little bit more, catch some passes, but I was really hoping Brevin Jordan would be a guy that would rotate in there with Stover, with Schultz. But again, we're just going to hope for the best with this injury and see where we go from there. It's just such a devastating injury. He was legit crying loud, was even shouting no. So that is another bad sign, kind of breaking down the CJ Gardner-Johnson injury. It was another tough injury, but the ligament was intact. So it's almost like this is not necessarily a re-injury, but that if you're screaming no, it's probably worst case scenario in your head immediately. Because if you're playing and you hear a snap in any leg, knee, I don't know if that was the case, but that's where you're going to be so much more upset, and that's where you could see Brevin Jordan's emotions showing. And again, guy who tore his ACL last year goes up to get a pass and just lands awkwardly. Just, again, you can only hope for the best. So very tough, very somber moment indeed. But now you have to look at the depth of tight end, and it is what was already slim is now looking even slimmer. So you have Schultz, Stover, Irv Smith, and Lachey in the tight end room. And again, I'm not going to assume Jordan is done just yet because we saw the news with CJ Gardner-Johnson. It looked like it was not promising. Hopefully they can report it a little bit better this time, because when the reports came out about Gardner-Johnson, I was really disappointed when you saw Aaron Wilson kind of report that he tore it and then, oh no, it's intact. Like, you have to pick one. You need to know 100% what the actual results are before you report it. And that's what should happen with Brevin Jordan. CJ Gardner-Johnson is a starting safety, so a little bit more name bias there. But I still think a little bit more name bias. But again, you still see the same player on the field. You want to wish him the best. And Brevin Jordan is a player where my heart just, I love to see him when he was on the field, when he was actually playing. And now he goes down again. A guy who is just trying to come back stronger and is just the absolute worst feeling in the world. So now you have the Texans going into preseason week 2. Tank Dell, who was actually at practice, it's kind of crazy. So Brevin Jordan 25. If we can look at the actual graphic that I'm trying to find. Okay, so tough game. Tank Dell was at the practice scene and he saw Brevin Jordan go down, frustrated, torn. CJ Stroud visibly in shock, not wanting to. He did not want trainers to help him off the field. He wanted to walk off on his own power, but just couldn't. So a couple teammates helped him to the cart, and that was that. He got carted off, and just what we're hearing already, the sounds are that it looked bad, and when it, like, the players are shying away, CJ Stroud visibly shocked. It's just like that kind of moment. It's just like, do you just not practice with anybody? Because we already have Joe Mixon who's hurt. You already have Nick Chubb who's questionable. Tank Dell's out for the season. Brevin Jordan now we don't know the status of. CJ Gardner-Johnson's going down. Obviously you can't not practice because injuries are going to happen, whether it's throughout the season. They can happen at any time. But the last thing you want is it to happen in practice before the season. So if you rest your guys, and this is why you don't start your guys in the preseason. You look at Tony Romo, and the last time he played preseason, he broke his collarbone or whatever he actually did, and that was his career. So, because then Dak Prescott took over, he lost a job, whatever. But again, I was kind of arguing in the last video where I was saying, hey, maybe the Texans should play their starters for preseason week 2. With more reports of players getting carted off the field, maybe it's best to not do that. I know I want to see my guy CJ Stroud. I want to see all the guys out there. But with more and more injuries, the Texans are definitely not going to play their starters. The only thing that affects is really your chemistry and your timing. But realistically, preseason is not going to be the test in that. It's training camp. So, again, anything can happen. A non-contact injury, even if you're, not necessarily contact in practice, you can, twist something, roll your ankle. And there's already been so many injuries through preseason already. Alexander Madison's done for the season. There is so much that has gone wrong for so many different teams. And again, the Texans have not caught any breaks, and the injury bug was a problem last year with all the wide receivers. Tank Dell went down, of course. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins even missed time. And now I'm a little bit concerned with, you look at the offensive line and how bad that second team was. I know somebody mentioned it in the comments, but if cornerback or left tackle or right tackle, if somebody goes down, I'll knock on this wood, I don't think it's been helping because the 2 guys have already gone down. But the fact of the matter is that you need as much depth as possible. So again, sign Stephon Gilmore. Go out and sign one of the veteran tight ends or veteran left tackles or left guard like Brennan Sheriff. I mean, you need guys to back people up, because if we're gonna watch the Texans struggle in the second half and wait for 2-3 seconds to see Keaton Slovis and Graham Mertz get absolutely lit up in the backfield, that's never a recipe for success. So again, Nick Caserio seems to always have a plan whenever something goes wrong horribly. So the biggest problem, and not problem, but the biggest thing to look forward to now would to most likely potentially sign more depth pieces. I mean, that's kind of what they did at wide receiver. You have so many guys: Collins, Kirk, Higgins, Noel, Mechie, Watson, Hutchinson, Berrios. There's so many wide receivers. So it's just a matter of what do you do with every other position, because you need as much depth as humanly possible, and that is evident with, again, more guys going down to Brevin Jordan. So I feel for him. I hope he can get back fully healthy. Hopefully it's not as bad as it was. But again, that is the worst news of the day. It's just gut-wrenching because you do not want to hear that for any player, but especially somebody who's been working as hard as Jordan, who tore his ACL last season. So that's all I got for the updates today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your comments down below. Thoughts and prayers for Brevin Jordan. But again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Thank you as always, and we'll see you in the next video.